Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special series of interviews where I interview past winners of YMP Awards. As many of you know, the YMP Awards recognizes two young professionals, a male and a female, who over the past year and during the course of their career have demonstrated exceptional leadership skills, innovative thinking, and they have created values for their companies, shareholders, and themselves. So this interview is all about getting to know the past winners. And today my guest is Jose Vizquerra, President, CEO, and Director of O3 Mining. And he's also the YMP Award winner of 2019. So Jose, welcome. Good to speak to you almost a year later, but still in COVID mode, like lockdown.
Hi again, how are you doing? Great to see you as usual.
So I'll start with the first question, which how did you start in the mining industry? How did you start your career in mining?
I was really very fortunate to enter into the mining industry, and it was a very smooth transition, if you want to call it. My grandfather has been in the mining industry for a long time. He started a mining company in 1952 called Buenaventura, and he started his career as a geologist. So since I was a kid, 6-7 years old, that I can remember, every time that we would go to our grandparents' house, he would be showing us different rocks, and he would making, even games about what is this? Is this pyrite, or is this chalcopyrite, or is this malachite? Is this tetrahedrite? How do you distinguish the different minerals? So it was really an incredible blessing that I had by, first of all, having this extraordinary relationship with my grandfather, and then I guess I got by extension this passion for mining. In my case, was not only the passion for mining, but the passion to develop the Andes of Peru, which where I come from. I am originally from Peru, born and raised, and the Andes of Peru is one of the areas that has been undeveloped, and through mining, it gives us the opportunity to develop areas where unprivileged people lives in many cases. At 5,000 meters over the sea level, you don't have agriculture. It's very little industrial activity that you can do there. So therefore, mining is a great way to develop the different towns. So that's how I got into mining. It was a very smooth transition, and it was a real blessing because I got the opportunity to spend a lot of time with someone that I admire so much as my grandfather.
Right. I guess I'll jump, just speaking of who you admire, I'll just jump to that question. Is there someone you look up to in the industry, whether, like, it could be one or multiple people?
Well, certainly I admire different individuals in the mining industry. I will start from home. Of course, the first person I admired for what he accomplished was my grandfather, because he was a self-made guy that started at 32 years old, renting a mine and then building something of the size of Buenaventura. I think it's amazing, and you need a lot of leadership to accomplish that, and it's someone that is well rewarded worldwide. Someone that maybe is not as shiny as my grandfather was my mother, was the first CEO of El Brocal as a woman in a country where there is a lot of, or there was, I guess there is still a little bit of that, of machismo. So the fact that she was a woman in the time where we had the worst time of Sendero Luminoso, the Shining Path, which was a terrorist group that we had in Peru, and her being the CEO, and us looking at her as the CEO of this mining company when we were kids was amazing. So I definitely have a lot of respect for what my mother accomplished as a CEO of El Brocal, a zinc and copper company. In my in my time in Canada, I had the luxury of spending a lot of time with John Bursinski principally, but also with Sean Rusen, with Brian Coates, and certainly there is other three individuals that were very important in all this period, no, or maybe four, and that was Ruben Padilla, Chris Lauder, Terry Harvard, and Rob. And in this case, I think that if there was someone that really made the time to work with me and progress together was John Bursinski, with no doubts, someone that has been an entrepreneur in series. I would say. I think he has a great way of looking at things, has the ability of always, stepping back and looking at things from a 10,000 meters, which is not always very easy in the middle of a problem. So he's certainly someone that I look professionally as someone that I admire.
And what comes to mind when we talk about success or to be successful to you?
Well, I guess success is a word that you can interpret in many ways. To me, I would call success if we can achieve our vision, and you have success in different areas of life, no? I mean, you may have success on a personal area, you can have success on the family area, you can have success on the business side of things. So all depends on where do we and how do we define success. In my view, I would consider that I am a successful person if I can achieve the vision that we have focused. And in the case of O3 Mining, we want to be a company in production, and we want to build an intermediate gold company. So if we, because it's a teamwork, if we manage to get Marlan into production and get Alpha into production in the next 7 years, I think I would call this a very successful story. It does not mean that if we get bought in the middle, it was not successful. Then your vision was truncated, but it does not mean that you're not successful. So I take success on a day-by-day basis.
And what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
Well, I mean, that goes to that concept of success, and success does not happen from one day to another. So if you don't have a vision and you don't work on it every day, you will never achieve that. And if you don't go back and you revisit what you have been doing and where you want to be, you will never achieve that. And I think if I were 20 years old, the first thing that I would keep telling myself is, first of all, make sure that you have a vision. Make sure that you know where you want to get. Someone made the example, I don't know where I read it or see it or heard it, but I mean, it's like a boat that doesn't know where it's going to go. If you don't know where you're going to go, then you're going to do a lot of meanders. And it's much easier if you know exactly where you're going to go, then you just drive the boat towards that objective. So I think if I talk to someone which is 20 years old, I would definitely encourage them to take the time to think, to meditate, to reflect on what do they really want. And once and it will change, but you should have an objective. And once that is set, it is a much easier conversation. It's a much easier process to go through, with no doubts.
And so you're definitely in a leadership position, but according to you, what does it take to be a good leader?
Well, I guess the word leadership starts by the connotation of, leading, no? I mean, how do you lead? How do you take people from one place to another? And I prefer to take leadership as a way of looking for examples. You see very successful leaders in different areas of life, of the world. I mean, you see someone like Margaret Thatcher, which I believe was a great leader. You see someone like Mahatma Gandhi, totally different, a great leader. And I mean, you can choose hundreds of leaders. And at the end, I think one thing describes them all. And I don't think there is a way to be a leader without giving the example. You may be right or wrong, but you have to start by giving the example. So if you have set a vision and your vision is to accomplish a particular objective, you have to be the first one waking up every morning, and you have to be the first one guiding everyone towards that vision. And I think once you are able to establish a vision, and then it's a matter of how do you pass that message to your own team. I do believe in the idea of working as a team. I try as much as I can to involve the different groups that work with us to understand that we are a team. And another part that I think is very important is to explain to our own team why we do things. Not only go and do this, but we want to obtain this objective. Why are we doing this? So everyone understand the contribution that they make to every step that we, as we move forward. No?
So maybe a bit more of a personal question, but do you have a morning routine, whether it's pre-work, like before going to work, or at work?
I do. I actually work out almost every day. 5 to 6 days a week. I transition between running or biking indoors. I don't bike outdoors. I tried biking outdoors and I fell, and I think I just lost it.
With the clip, it was the clip.
It's very fun. And before I do that, I take between 10 and 12 minutes to meditate. So, and I do a very structured meditation where I give thanks for the first 3 minutes. I encourage myself for the next 3 minutes, and I set a vision for the next 3 minutes. So that allows me to always be conscious of good things that are happening, be conscious of things that where I am robust and where I'm strong, and how to make my weakness stronger. And the last part is to have this vision on how do I see things. That goes to the point of the objective. And I take that in a very special way. I play the game that things has already happened, and how do I feel when those things has actually happened. And it's incredible what your mind can do, and then suddenly things start to occur. And then at night, we give thanks together with my wife, and we pray. We pray for 2 or 3 minutes, and that's kind of the routine. You start giving thanks, and you go to bed giving thanks. When I put to bed to my kids, I asked them what was the thing that they felt most gracious that particular day. So in some cases, just make you wonder the difference between what you give thanks for and what they give thanks for, and really put things in perspective, especially in a situation like the one we're living right now with this pandemic. Really allow us to reflect on where we're living, what do we want, and what do we want for the world in general. No?
Right. Really interesting. And then another personal question: which book have you given the most, if there are any?
No, I think
because often that's different than the ones you've read and the one you felt that were good enough to be given.
So you're asking me for a book that has been given to me?
No, that you have given as a gift to someone. Unless you want to share a good book that someone gave to you.
No, I have. I actually have it here.
Good. I guess it's better to see it in real life.
Yeah, it's called. I got it as a gift, and I gave it to my wife actually, and it's how will you measure your life?
Okay, interesting. So everyone, how will you measure your life? Okay.
Yeah. So I had it just there. Just wanted to show it to you. So it's
very good, very good.
Alworth. Yeah. I have to admit that in the past couple of months, I have learned to do these podcasts, which save you. I don't know if the word is save you a lot of time, but allows you to be exposed to more books. There is even now apps that summarize the books for you, which is fantastic. So it allows you to have a very nice grasp of the different things.
Absolutely. I'm all about podcast and audiobook. And then for 2021, are there any plans you can share with us, whether it's in your role or with the company?
Yeah, with in the case of O3 mining, 20. It's always important to reflect on the back as well. 2020 was a year to build things. So we came out with a PEA for our project Marvan. We did another preliminary economic assessment for Garrison. Earlier in the year, we were able to reallocate Garrison, put it together with Monita, building a partnership. So that way now we can focus in Valdor. And I think 2021 is a year of us really exploiting the real potential that we have at Marvan, where we believe that we can increase the resource very fast. And in the case of Alpha, which is only 20 kilometers east from Marvan, to hopefully come up with a discovery. If you ask me what is your dream by 2021, hopefully to have 2 discoveries at Alpha. Because the other areas, it's execution, it's just expanding the resources, but having a discovery will be exceptional. I think we have 2 targets that we will be now drilling between now and April that I think will be a game changer for us. Now we have 12 drill rigs, so we will see how that turns out.
And before we let you go, are there any advice you would like to share with our YMP audience?
I think one thing that I think it's important for all of us is to keep the network going. This is a moment where we're all spending a lot of time at home. So make sure that we exercise, make sure that we follow our routine, and make sure that we keep in contact with our loved ones is certainly very important from a mental health standpoint of view. So, I mean, I know we're all at home. We gotta make sure that we're active. Otherwise, this can be very, very, very tough for everyone.
Agree. Well, thank you, Rose, for the interview. I mean, it was great. We got to know you a bit more personally, so it's always interesting. And for our listener, just make sure you cast your vote for the YMP Award winners of 2021. So thank you.